Alright, so I've been playing the new Cat Eye Erika Vendetta Sting, aka Erika 3, and it's basically just Flicker Strike. I'll show you a quick map here in time mark 8. Farming it pretty smoothly. But basically, you just Flicker Strike to everything, you just hold down right click. And I will explain how I got to this point, because a lot of people, if you're new, you know, there's a lot of different systems you can interact with. None of them are necessarily complex, but you gotta know a lot of different things at this point to know what to upgrade, how to upgrade, where to get the upgrades. So I'll show you all that stuff. But right now, basically, I'm just freezing everything. I do occasionally die. I'm definitely not tanky, and it's Flicker Strike, so you're always in melee range. One of the big advantages of melee builds in this game is that your AoE is huge, so you're not actually in melee range. That is different on this build because it's Flicker Strike, so it actually will just, you know, you'll die because you're in melee range. Can't really do much to dodge it. You can't control your character. That being said, it is when you're farming smoothly, it is very satisfying to play. Just Flicker striking everywhere. Let me do this, and then I'll show you my current gear, and I'll tell you the upgrades to get there. And then you can start farming T8s with ease. Right. So I'm around 4 billion target demi, a little bit under. You can see. Pretty good. I've probably spent, honestly, like 300 FE, maybe a little bit more. 300 to 500 in that range. And then for bossing, you want to swap to these two just to start. Quick note. It is very good for single target. It turns your Vendetta into being a like one-time pop thing, and it goes on cooldown, but it just does massive damage. And then you just use your regular attack while it's on cooldown. That's been how I'm doing bossing. Now, anyways, for the gear, I go over the uniques first. First one, very good helmet is Opening Heart. At this point, it's very cheap. Definitely grab one of those. Gives you Fervor, which gives you crit stuff, basically, and extra damage, and then more extra damage. All around is a very good damage helmet. And then for Amulet, Vortex Heart, very good. It's got a bunch of crit stuff, got Flat Fizz, Focus Strike, which gives more damage. Very good. It's been dropping in price, still a little expensive, so it's gonna take you a little bit to get this. 60 FE. Undying Faith. I natural dropped this one, I got lucky. With this, it lets you go low life, and it gives you aura effect, gives you additional damage, gives you mana reservation efficiency here, or sealed mana compensation, levels up your passive skills. Very good. So in order of which uniques you want to get the helmet first, then Vortex Heart, and then the chest piece. It is also the order of expensiveness. Not necessarily why. I think this order is the most impactful as well. So, rare gear. Right now, my belt is still pretty bad. Just using it for res. Some strength, which this is a strength stacking build, essentially. Well, the main stat is strength, so it scales with strength for damage. Percent damage, energy shield, and then just res. Gloves, got some Flat Fizz. You could also just go for percent damage, and then got the double energy shield, crit, and then some res. I'm not I'm pretty close to res capped. Ideally, you should be res capped. I usually don't really worry about erosion for a while. Boots, same thing as gloves, pretty much. Got some crit, got damage, energy shield, res where you can get it. Ring. So something important on the ring here. We got max frostbite rating. So every additional frostbite rating is 2% more damage, which is massive. If you look here. Oh, sorry, it's 1% more damage per frostbite. Anyways, still really good damage scaler here. So these two nodes are 21% more damage, essentially. And then the reason you want to especially stack more is because, see this frostbite, if you get it to 100, they will be frozen, and then you will additionally do more damage to them when they're frozen through various passives on the tree. Here, another more frostbite rating, and then res, damage, energy shield. Swords. I got melee damage, cold damage, and fizz damage. I don't know the exact bis prefixes. It's definitely the cold damage, and then I'm unsure if you want to get like fizz damage, and then you can get gear fizz damage on that too, or you can go strength and the melee melee damage route. I don't know what is bis there. And then on suffixes, gonna want to make sure you get attack speed here on one sword. On your main sword here, you're gonna want attack speed. On your second sword, you do not want attack speed, and that is because of Blade Runner. This node, offhand weapons do not participate in attacks while dual wielding, and then it adds the damage of offhand to the final damage of the main hand weapon. So the second weapon is essentially just a big stat stick. And then here I've got double crit. Honestly, another attack speed might be pretty nice there, but double crit is also good. And then on your second sword, I have flat fizz, cold, and then percent melee. I think strength would be better here. Or, yeah. I think you want to go for the double fizz with fizz damage and then the percent here. Or you want to just go for melee damage, cold, and then strength. I think that'd be the best. I'm not 100% sure. I have crit damage, crit rating, and elemental damage. You don't want attack speed here because, like the node said, this weapon does not actually use any attacks. Like, it's not counting towards your attacks. I mean, it is counting, but you're not attacking with the sword. It's a stat stick, right? So, how do you actually get to these? Basically, you're gonna do the same mods. You're probably not going to be able to get the special mods, the advanced affixes, like these, but that's okay, you don't need them. So what you're going to do basically is go to the trade house, and then I'll show you the steps for a sword. So farming up from T1 to T7, you probably aren't gonna really want to be buying these off the auction house. You're gonna want to pick them up, and then basically just try and get a good weapon, and then replace it whenever you need more damage. And then when you do need more damage and you're around the T7 area, you're going to want to specifically get certain bases because of the eye level. So the way crafting works is this game, certain eye levels will have different crafting costs because they can hit higher tiers, right? So let me just get a cheap one here somewhere. Random one, doesn't matter. Grab that, and then I'll grab one of these. Mods do not matter here, just grab a cheap one. You can try and search for a good mod. It might save you a little bit of money. So here we have an eye level 80 sword. You're gonna want to get this. And then, so you can roll the tier 3, right? And then it costs 5 flame sand and 1 precious ember. So this is eye level 80. And then the next tier upgrade is from level 82 to 85 for item level. So within that upgrade, it can get to also tier 2. And actually, it's the same cost for tier 2 and tier 3. So I would not craft this level 80 weapon. Just go straight to an 82 to 85. You can either look out for it on the ground, or you can just buy one for 1 FE. I usually just buy one, it's easy. And then, basically, you're just gonna wanna come here and click the mods you want, and then select T2. Let it go until you hit it. Auto crafting feature, very, very nice. The boom, hit it, GG. Okay, so you're just gonna want fizz, cold, melee damage. Probably would not waste advanced affixes, but if you want to, attack crit rating, attack speed, crit damage are all good. And then you're gonna want attack speed, fizz damage, elemental damage. Those are all solid. So you get that all tier 2. That's you're aiming for all tier 2 on all these pieces of gear. That's your first step of gear upgrades. And then, once you do that, start to fill in the more expensive uniques in terms of gear. But before you get these expensive uniques, there's a few other things you're going to want to get that are important. Number 1, very, very important, is the statue of the new god. They're called slates, divinity slates. These have stats on them. This crit strike damage per fervor rating is your friend. This is a very, very good, cheap node. Very big damage. So it's 0.5 crit damage per fervor. We're always at 100. So 50% crit damage there. And then these secondary talent nodes here are also very, very good, and they stack up really, really nicely. Another thing you're going to want to make sure you do at some point, I'll get rid of these. This is, okay, converts 100% to fizz. The cold is like 10 FE. When you make the cold swap, which you're just going to have to kind of feel it out, the build guide document I'm going to link is not going to be cold. I don't think cold is the greatest starter. I think you should start as lightning and then swap. But I swapped the cold with the profit tree. So this node says you can only do cold damage. So you're either going to need that slate with fizz to cold convert, or you're going to need this node on the profit tree. It's the very last one on the bottom. At the start, I'd probably just allocate it. I had to allocate it for a while. So slate's very, very good. You just want to go for 2 damage mods. The crit strike damage, and then another one. Pretty cheap. This pedigree here, air trigger, is a pretty cheap one to do for just extra damage. It's essentially around 24% extra damage. I forget the exact number. But very, very good. Good to just throw on. There's some other options too. Basically anything that does damage will be good. Next thing you're really going to want to do is your hero memories here. Mine are actually not that good. So your first one, you're going to want the implicit to have strength. And then these two, you're just going to want damage, probably crit damage or attack speed. Here, you're going to want energy shield. And then here, on the third one, you're going to want attack speed. And then you'll level these things up with memory scraps. They're relatively inexpensive, but honestly, probably farm them yourself. It is with the black sale mechanic. I think Black Sail and boss rushing is the best thing you can really do in tier 7. It's this is what the tree I'm using looks like. You go top first and then down here and then there. I just chose, if you go to the builds thing, I just chose this one and I just copied that. I changed it a little bit, but you can kind of just copy that. And then I am also doing Dream. Dream I wouldn't do before tier 8. Just do Black Sail and get like some beacon nodes to farm up more beacons. I'll try and find a guide for that and link it in the description for a proper one. And then I'm not really gonna go over the tree. It's pretty straightforward. The only major thing you really gotta look out for is making sure you convert fizz to cold. If you when you make the swap to cold. And I'd probably swap to cold probably around either in T7 or when you hit T8. I think lightning is just better damage scaling early, but cold has really good defense for freezing things. And it does have nice shatter sounds too. This node's pretty big, actually. Focus Blessing, it's like a power charge. Cold Infiltration, this node is necessary. Frostbite. This node, agility busting when using mobility skills, and it does not work with Vendetta. You have to actually spiral strike once in a while, but no big deal there. And then I guess another thing you're gonna want to do is obviously get all your links on your things here. And then there is something in the Google document link for the build guide. It says overwhelm for a sport gem. It means steamroll. On Vendetta here, the only thing that really matters is getting a bunch of attack speed. So attack speed, attack speed, attack speed. Although recklessness does drain your life, so if you're feeling very, very, very squishy, I wouldn't really recommend this early. The build does get a lot of regen eventually, but at the beginning it's not great. And then timid, you can swap this out for Frost Shield. I swap this out occasionally. Frost Shield is really, really good defense. You just keep popping it with defense layers, and your energy shield cannot be interrupted. Very, very good defense skill. Then Bull's Rage, just some extra damage. I'm using Fearless, Thunder Magus, Magus, Ice Focus, and then Precise Frigid Domain. I just dropped this. It doesn't have to be precise. You can either go for regular Frigid Domain or Domain Expansion is good for extra AoE. And then the next thing, I'm going to try and get a Precise Fearless here. It's basically the upgraded version of the skill that drops from bosses. Something else you're going to want to make sure you want to do is Boss Conquest gives you lots of stuff. It's basically a big target dummy, seeing how much DPS you can do. Supreme Showdown gives you some nice rewards too. Don't bother with city defense for a long time. And then very important is this button here, Path of Progression, gives you skill points. These things are your points for maps, for getting different mechanics. Very, very important here that you go through and do some of these, at least the first like 10 or so on most of them. Gives you skill points. It gives you quantity buff for doing essentially different challenges. And it will kind of guide you on things you should be doing too. Generally, it's stuff you should be doing at some point. And it has a bunch of different categories. And other than that, I think that is all of the important stuff and how to progress. the next steps I'm going to be doing is probably getting a blending here. This is from the Sandlord season mechanic. And then I'll also try and get dream interpretations, which is basically an extra implicit on the weapon. I have not looked much at the new season's gear. I'll probably mess with that the next day or two. And then just looking at the leaderboard, I think is a good resource. You can just go look what other people are doing. Just make sure they're doing like the same kind of, like make sure their talent trees are matching yours. A lot of these guys are going lightning, so you're gonna want to find one with cold. Make sure they have the this node, extreme coldness, with the profit tree there. So make sure you're not like following people's items on a completely different setup. But otherwise, it is a good resource.